Greetings. This is the first movie for Word Chapter 3, Pause and Practice number 1. And how I'm beginning is in your Blackboard system in Lessons Word Chapter 3 Assignments folder. I'm at the Word Chapter 3 Pause and Practice Dropbox. And a couple things that I wanted you to recognize. One is that there's 3 pause and practices, so when we name it, we can put a 3 at the end there. And then in this big yellow, you do not have to complete any steps that ask you to send to a OneDrive link. Okay, so you can just skip those. And finally, there is a program, a file that we need to download to start. So I'm going to click to download it. Because I'm in Chrome, it's down here in my tray. And there is my document. Okay. So this document, part of this chapter is working with others and in collaboration and working with reports. Okay, so one of the things that when you work in a team and you're trying to all update a single document, it can get very complex very quickly, and then in keeping straight all of the changes and the edits and the suggestions can be a little bit overwhelming. So what we're going to look at in this chapter is how to use some of the tools that Word provides for you to track and to accept and reject any edits, and then also how to comment. So a comment would be different than tracking your changes. When you track changes, you're actually tracking changes that are made to the document. Comments are external to the document. They're just somebody's comments about something, a suggestion, and you can dismiss those comments, or you can keep them, you can reply to them. Okay, so we're going to explore those things. So first thing we're going to do is go to the Review tab, because we're going to spend some time there. In the Review tab, in the Tracking group, we want to click the so we're in the Review tab in this Tracking group. We want to open the dialog box. So we're going to click on that, and we want to change the username. So we're going to click on that. Change username. In the personalize your copy, you want to make sure that it's your last name and your first name. Then you want your initials to be your first and last initials in lowercase. And then check the always use this values regardless of sign in to Office. And then OK. So what that will do is, why we did that is, when multiple people are working on a document, you need to know who made the changes. And so by setting those, when you do changes, they're going to be applied to your username, okay, as opposed to, we're looking at Kelsey's here. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is to click the Display for Review drop-down. And select Original. So we're in that Tracking group. We're going to click this down and we're going to say Original. So what that does is it takes this document back to the original document prior to any changes. Because see, what happens when you have these track changes, they're tracked, but they're not applied until somebody that owns it says yes to the changes. So what we're doing here is we've reverted it back to what it was before any changes were done. So that would be that view. Let's go back up here and look at a different view. All right, so we're going to say no markup. All right, so that is the final document if we applied all of the proposed changes, right? So original takes me back to the original prior to changes. No markup shows me what the document would look like and read if all of the proposed changes were accepted, okay, if they were applied. So we're going to go back and we're going to do simple markup. Okay, so in the simple markup, it shows the document with the proposed changes applied. And what happens here is these red lines would indicate to you that those are lines that changes have been made. Okay, that somebody changed something. Okay, so those are the different ways that you can look at the markup, original, finished, and then this simple, you're not seeing the two, because let me go back to all. See, you see the original and the change. So with simple, you just see the change, but the indicator that it was changed is the red line. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to click the Display for Review drop-down list and go back to all markups. Okay, so now we see both the proposed, the inline, and the comments in over here in the markup area. So, alrighty, so part of this is a little, like, we keep going back and forth, but really it's just to show you the different looks and how you can use that when you're working in a group and collaborating. Alright, so what we're going to do is, I think we're on step 5, that's page W3-142, step 5. So we're going to, in this tracking area, find where it says Review Pane. Okay, so that's this. So we're going to click that down and make sure it says vertical, Review Pane vertical. So we have our changes over here on the left. Okay. Just to show you, I'm going to do the horizontal. It's at the bottom, right? Like, for me, that doesn't work. I like it next to it over here. But okay. In the Review Pane, find where the bulleted item was moved. Kelsey Kroll moved insertion 1. Kelsey Kroll moved insertion 1. All right. Right-click it, and we are going to reject it. We're going to say, we don't want that. So, reject, and it was taken away. Let's go ahead and close that. So that was just a demonstration of how you can move through and select. So the next thing we want to do is just go ahead and accept the changes in the document. So we're going to go home. So Control Home takes you to the beginning, right? So Control Home will take you up to the beginning. And in the Changes group here, we can move through by using the Next button and the Previous button to move through all of the changes and individually accept or reject them. Or you're going to see we're going to say accept all, but we're going to start off by just doing it individually. So let's do next, and it's going to find we're going to accept that. We're going to do next, 2, 3. So the personal training program, where it was deleted, we're going to accept that. And it'll move on. Now I don't want to go through all of these, so we're going to do the bottom half of this button and not just accept this one, but rather we're going to use that arrow and we're going to say accept all changes. So they're done. So now all of our changes have been applied. So the only thing that we see left is comments. Okay. So I think I'm going to let's do this. So we're going to mark a comment as done and reply to a comment. So go back to the top of your document and click the Next button. Okay. go to the top. I went to the wrong next. In the comments, we're dealing with comments now, not changes. We're going to do next. It's going to take you to this Kelsey Kroll this first comment here. So we're going to right click, mark comment done. Okay. So it should become grayed out. We're going to do next. Takes us to the next one. In this one, we want to reply. So we're going to click on this little box that has the reply. We're going to click on that. Notice it comes up with my name. Yours will have your names. Name, thank you will do exclamation point. We're going to do next. This one we're going to delete. So we're going to click the top part of this delete. It's going to be gone. We're going to say next. And we're going to delete that one. So the first one's there, and then the one that we did the reply. So the one we said we're done, and the one we replied to should be the two that are there. Okay. We're going to put a comment in on our own. So we're going to go home again, Control Home. We're going to insert a new comment right here, and also insert a cover page and table of contents. Okay, so that's just kind of a reminder. Then I want to find the first word in the first paragraph. So there, we're going to put a comment on that. And proofread this report one more time. Okay, so that is done. So now what we want to do is come up here to the top of the track changes button to turn on track changes. And so now it's going to record any changes that I made. So in the first section here where it says basic, and we're going to change that to general. We're going to find training. This is personal training guidelines. And we're going to put the word after training, space, program guidelines. Okay. Then, so see how it's being tracked? We can turn track changes off. Okay. And now we can save it and close it. So we're done tracking our changes, but those changes are still going to be there for whoever's going to look at it, so they can see what we changed. Okay, so this is the end of 3.1. So let's go ahead and stop this movie, and I'll start the next one at 3.2.